and that took that need to be loved away.
Can I see it?
And so I was married young. Yeah, this is my book. I was married young and immediately fell in love, and then it just didn't feel right. You know, everything felt wrong. And I knew all the things to look for, and I saw all of the red signs, you know, not to go there, but it just felt good. You know, finally someone will love me. You know, I deserve to be the way I deserve to be loved. But it didn't work out that way. You know, my husband was, I found out 10 years into the marriage that he was involved in pornography. So for the first 10 years, I went to counseling to try to figure out what was wrong with me. What was so wrong that no one wanted to love me.
Wow.
And so, you know, you have all of that inside of you trying to figure out, I must not be very good, you know, and that does carry on into all of your relationships,
right,
honestly.
it very personal.
Yes.
And then bringing that shame or that brokenness onto yourself when it's not only you that's in the relationship.
So, yeah, I found out that he was watching pornography, and at the time I was young. I had been raised in a very conservative background where you didn't talk about these kind of things, so I didn't talk to anybody about it. And I thought, well, it's just one video. I'll rip it up and there it goes. But it began to show itself over and over and over, and it would progress each time. And my husband would seek help, and it'd be okay for a while. But then when he felt pressure, that's where he went. You know, he had not totally given it to Christ, who we know is the only one who can break the chains of an addiction.
Sure.
And so our family suffered, you know, because of that internally.
And then what did you do that to try and help that? Because obviously you were in a whole lot of pain. And what did you turn to try and alleviate that?
So I started talking to friends and thought, you know, I need help. I was in a great place in ministry. I poured my life into ministry, and that's where I kind of hid. But then I thought, I need help. I want my marriage to be like my friends' marriages. You know, I was kind of jealous a little bit. I wanted what they had. And I knew I didn't have that. So I began talking to someone that was a friend, and it should have been okay, but I crossed some lines. He crossed some lines.
This was a man that you were speaking to.
And I was married, and so was he. And it seemed like I trusted him. You know, everything would be okay. But before long, he was saying, I know how you feel. And I feel that way too. And, you know, you deserve to be loved. And it felt good to hear those things. And so I just let my guard down a little at a time, you know. And before I knew it, emotionally I was involved with this man, looking forward to all of his phone calls, looking forward to his emails, just any kind of connection, longing for it. And so I began to realize this is not good, but I didn't know how to let go of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something of a love addiction, right? Again, that we've been talking about, where you feel like you're not receiving it from God or from others, so you're going to look for it wherever you can.
Right.
And then how did God come into that?
So, well, in the midst of all of that, my husband decided he wanted a divorce, you know, and I didn't know how to deal with that. The emotional relationship ended, so I felt like I was just in this hole of despair that would honestly never end. I would get up and live each day, and I would go to work, and I would exist, but that would be as good as it would be. And why would God ever want to use me? I had totally messed up myself and had all of this heartache. He doesn't use people like that, right?
Well, or not. I mean, we're here.
He came to me in that pit of despair and said, he gave me 1 Peter 5:10, after you've suffered a little while, the God of all grace will confirm, strengthen, establish, and restore you. And it gave me hope, which was what I was lacking during all of those years. And he began to show me a little at a time, you know, I do want to use you. I am going to give you life. There is abundant life after mistakes. There's abundant life after pain. And so I went to counseling for a year myself and became healthy.
You worked on yourself first.
I worked on myself to realize what, you know, I knew I was lacking in that area because 2 men, you know, that had hurt me, but I had gone towards those 2 men, you know, looking for love. So I went through counseling and realized that there was hope and that I was not alone. And so then God began to pour into me and began to use me to pour into others through all of that.
You wrote a song for that, didn't you?
I did.
Can you read those lyrics?
So
to
during
us?
the middle of all of that mess, this is how I felt. I feel like that probably you can relate with this too. Today, Lord, I can't say your name out loud. I have no strength. This storm is overtaking me. I know your word has promised to make firm the weak, but I can't see your plan, and I'm too weak to stand. I'm in the eye of the storm, and I see the waves crashing down on me, but this time they're too strong. All hope seems gone. Then suddenly, I feel your arms surrounding me. I'm still in the storm, but I'm not alone. My God is holding on to me. Then he says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. Nor will the flames even scorch you, or the rivers overflow you. For I am the Lord your God, and I will walk with you. You're in the eye of the storm. You feel the waves crashing down on you. This time they are too strong. All hope seems gone. But my child, I have my arms surrounding you. You're still in the storm, but not alone. I am holding on to you. And that is pretty much where I was for a long time, just in the middle of the winds are swirling around me, and I cannot get over them. But then the last part of the song says, you have promised never to leave or forsake me. I'm your child. So even though this storm still rages, I'll keep my eyes on the rock of ages, and I know victory will come. And that's what I learned in the middle of it all, is that victory was coming for me, and that God was using me in the middle of the storm. And it would be a while. You all know how it is. It takes a while to get out of a big storm like that.
Yes.
And so, it rages for quite a while.
Yes. And that song, I believe, is available on your website, correct?
Yes. It's there. You can go listen to it.
Is that TammyDaniel.com?
TammyDaniel.com is where it is.
That's
There's 4
fantastic.
songs there to listen to.
Wonderful, yes. And beautiful, beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
I was.
I'm just blown away by the quality, and I love the recording as well on the website.
Good.
And I believe that you have another talented singer in your family, or have had.
Yes, our little dog. So I teach piano. I teach piano and voice in my home, and so a lot of times, I go in there and play the piano or sing. Well, this little dog gets under the piano and just howls every time. She hates music. We're like, she's in the wrong home. We all like music.
Are you sure she's not just trying to sing along?
Maybe so. Maybe she's singing, but it's like you have to put her out in order to sing.
Trying to get everything done, right?
Yes, it's hilarious.
We have cats, so we don't have the chance to see in our own home how dogs are. I know they're much more interactive and make their presence known so much more. Cats have a tendency to be, a little bit more behind the scenes.
Yeah, they don't howl as much as the dogs might.
Yeah, I always just say a prayer. Sometimes I'll do the Facebook Lives where I sing a song. I think I'm going to share a song today. So I'll put the dogs out and just say a quick prayer. Lord, please don't let them bark or howl or scratch or ruin the song.
Tammy, could you tell us what you are thankful for the most, or where you saw God's fingerprint in your story?
I'm thankful that He taught me, and looking at all of these things and looking for love, and even after the divorce and coming through all of that, I still felt like I needed someone. And God confirmed to me, I'm all you need. And when He showed me that, when I got the message loud and clear, that in my life, someday God might choose to give me a husband, I don't know. But if He doesn't, it's okay, because He became the love of my life. And when you can get to that place in your story where He's enough, then you've reached what you need. You can go further with Him and see what He has to give you, all the blessings He has to give you on top of that.
And a healthy relationship with God is so much better than an unhealthy relationship with anybody else. It's better than a healthy relationship with anybody else, but it's really better than an unhealthy relationship with anybody else.
Absolutely.
It took me quite a few years after my divorce to be able to work through who I was and how I had value. I did what I called serial dating. It was one guy at a time, but guy after guy after guy, trying to find that sense of value and worth in that. And finally, it was like, wait a second. This isn't adding good things to my life. This is actually adding more brokenness and more pain and more frustration. it's not healing anything. It's actually doing more damage.
Yeah.
And realizing that, wait a second, I might need to stop that to get away from the distractions, get away from the damage, and start digging into who I am in Christ.
Right.
And doing that did the same thing like you're saying, as I found my identity in him and he started filling that empty place. Then it wasn't about whether or not I had somebody. It was about feeling whole and feeling like I had value and that I was truly loved without needing a person to validate or give me value or that. And it's just such a shift, isn't it?
It really is.
It's like
an overnight thing, you know, like I got to have somebody, and it's like, I'm okay, you know.
Was there a specific moment where you felt you were finally blooming, as we say?
Yeah, I think when I came to the place to not be praying, you know, this is really funny, but when I prayed every day, I was like, Lord, please give me the right husband and I was like, all these prayers about this man, you know, and suddenly it became, and thank you for this day, and thank you for my family, and there was no prayer there. And I know that sounds strange. There was no need.
It sounds normal.
There was no need there. You know, God had fulfilled everything in me, you know, over just a little short time. I had been praying, God, take the desire away. And my girlfriends were too, because they were having to hear about all of these, you know, men and the need for them. And so God took that away and filled me with, you know, just more longing for him. And my life is just so much fuller in that. And I'm able to pour into other women and to share that with them.
And you have more time for ministry. You have more time for family when you're not out there trying to make something happen.
Well, God shifts
find
your
the right
priorities. You know, when you're surrendered to him, that's where my focus is on my ministry.
Right.
And God, how much more can I do for you today? What do you have for me? You know?
Yeah, Paul does talk about if you are unmarried, then you can be working even more so for Christ. You have that extra time, that extra energy. You can sleep better at night. I know I certainly sleep better having a nice big bed all to myself and not having to share my time and all kinds of stuff. So I don't have to worry about where I'm going for holidays. So, I mean, it's just kind of streamlines a lot of things. I don't have to worry about dinner or making it for everybody. So, Tammy, thank you for being here. We want to make sure that you know that you have been awarded the ex-victim of the week.
Oh, I love it.
And this is yours to take home.
And see, the ex-victim in the necklace matches my tattoo.
I love it.
We just got to show people that because they asked me what the tattoo means, and it actually has a little V for victim, because whether you're a victim of your own mindset and your own neediness, you're a victim of addictions, you're a victim of other people.
Right.
It's about giving it to Christ, which the X is the ichthyos, so that you can actually start blooming, which is the middle of it. And our chocolates and tissues, which are traditional. And that gets us all together, so we use the fertilizer of our past to bloom today.
A free PDF copy of the Bloom in the Dark book and a full list of Bloom Today's coaching tools can be found on bloomtodaytv.com. Then visit Bloom Today's Facebook group for deeper conversation.